Two, we are live, and I decided to go along with the multiple universes because I was researching the Matrix, and multiple universes keep coming up. So, honestly, where do you go from here? I guess you have to assume there's multiple universes, no matter what you do. All right, Chong, come on. So, we're going to go with multiple universes in our discussion to try to understand the Matrix. But the topic of cold fusion comes to mind. I mean, it was huge. All that theory of cold fusion and the freezing of ionization and just all the different things that go along with cold fusion. And it literally takes particles, breaks them up and stuff. And my question is, when we're talking about these multiple universes, maybe when we're studying all this research on all these particles and cold fusion and stuff, I mean, multiple universes, maybe the universe does kind of like that, but on a bigger scale. Maybe it just literally does that. Maybe it literally has its old cold fusion within the black holes. Maybe all the elements that we discovered with atomic energy and everything has always been there. Maybe these atomic particles, in a lot of respects, maybe they come together and they're helping build these infinite multiple universes. And maybe in a sense, like when we're in one universe and we're putting off one bomb, it's setting forth a ripple effect to the other ones. Because they say in one universe, I was listening, that World War II happened in this one, but another one it may not have. And they have all these stories about these travelers that came, and they can't explain any of it. I mean, these people are coming from other times. They have perfect documentation. And honestly, it is kind of strange if you think about it. So I'm thinking maybe there is something literally to all the cold fusion. So I'm willing to bet, honestly, that literally there is something going on with the cold fusion. And I'm thinking in a scale. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to show that in the stream. Okay. All right, here. Let me put this in my pocket and get this picked up. Okay, I'm not sure who's this calling. Okay, thank God they went away. All right, let me put this in my pocket so I can clean this up. All right. Hold on. Okay. I think we're in focus now. There we go. But I'm thinking, like, if we're living in multiple dimensions and different time fragments, they said that cold fusion can bend time. But then they're saying the same thing about the black holes. And they're saying it's just one huge vortex. All right, what are you eating over there, Chong? Come on. I don't want you eating that. But I'm seriously thinking that within the black hole, there's some kind, the suction so strong, possibly with the quantum physics world being overturned, maybe there's like cold fusion and powerful suction going on, and it's splitting atoms into different time dimensions. I mean, we don't know. It could be, it could not be. Come on, let's go. Come on, Chong. But honestly, that's where Chong's going with this now, because I mean, it would have to be a powerful force. And then they were saying there was a guy that I forgot his name. I'm horrible at names, but he invented a time machine, and there's the story going around. And anyways, he invented this time machine, and they had documented cases, and they were trying to take it from him. And anyways, would you get over here? I think you're next to something nasty. Anyways, he had this time machine, and within this time, this period, they were trying to seize the time machine and all this stuff, and it was documented from the FBI files and stuff. And then when they went to go search and take the time machine, he was gone and the time machine was gone, and there was nothing there. And it was like the next day, which was weird. It's like they find these things coming by and all these different theories, and they see just regular people coming by that don't fit in our world, and they have different things they brought. And when they go and they investigate them and they can't arrest them and this and that, they literally put them in like holding cells, or put them up in, like the one guy put him up in a hotel when he had a passport. And they have all these guards by their doors, and then the next day they're disappearing, and the people that were watching them are the ones that get blamed for all the problems. And literally the soldiers and everything will say that they never left their post, but they get blamed. So I'm seriously thinking that if all this is going on, maybe all the stuff we're developing and all the scientific stuff, we could be creating our own small micro universes and maybe not realizing it. And maybe our quest to try to save this Earth, and they say there's other carbon copies of Earth, and it's somewhere, all these carbon copies. So maybe in one carbon copy of Earth, they were the science saying you never met your wife. In another universe, you did. And they were saying that sometimes in these carbon copies, when you're going through the universes, that, if it's deja vu, if you really like somebody but feel like you really like them and you were with them, but you just have a certain feeling about them, maybe you are married to them in another universe. I mean, they're the scientists and the scientific community saying this is pretty much a reality. But I'm thinking, I want to say it's kind of like, and there was the bags that I was looking for. And I literally dropped them right here. Where's my bags? Okay. But anyways, I'm thinking, this probably is right. because there's so many documented cases, so many strange stuff, and they keep saying that people are going on spaceships. Maybe they're not spaceships at all. Maybe maybe they're some kind of ships, but they're a different version of us. And our other version doesn't want to do the butterfly effect. And all these different beings that we're seeing, and we try to grab stuff from them, we're not allowed, we can't do it because they have the technology. But we're like either their past self or the future. It's our future or past. And maybe mankind's future self tries to come here to visit to make it better for our future self. Kind of like Back in the Future. I mean, it's possible. It really can be, I'm thinking. All right, Chong, you already went up in that bush. I'm done with the bush. But possibly that's it. And maybe our former selves, maybe we're just, in our future life, we're just with a total different person. And to have a total different life. Maybe you're a scientist in one life and a dog walker in another. Or maybe you don't even have a dog in another life. But, in this one you do. I do love ivy. It's one of my favorite plants. It really is. I like the look of ivy. It's always piqued my interest, the ivies. I just like it. Some people like flowers. I like the different plants. But honestly, I'm thinking these. It could be like a cold fusion paradox. I'm going to start calling it, where we have like a whole paradox, but it's infused by cold fusion. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's no crazier than what they're talking about. They're talking about an alien. One version is somebody watching TV screens. I'm saying that space is so vast and interesting and great and wonderful and just mysterious. I'm thinking it's advanced technology. I would want to say my future self would want to see what the future holds and want to help my past self. Chong, I'm right here. Come over here. Come on. Would you come over here? We're not going that way. We're going straight. But honestly, that's what I'm thinking. And at this point in science and all these different podcasts, anybody could be right. But I'm thinking we go through a vortex, and I think it starts with I believe it has to do with the collision of the black holes. Because if they're like I want to say they would be like a cyclone of just different kinds of energy. I would think that it would be like a reverse energy. Like instead of going forwards, it would be going backwards to suction you. And when it goes backwards, it could create different planes of existence for the future, as they say and talk about these wormholes. That would be the only way a wormhole, I believe, could go, but it would have to be created backwards. There would have to be a past to go and a future and a present. And maybe in each micro universe there's 3 Earths past, present, and future for every event. And every time we tinker with things or throw things in space or move in all that, maybe we move around things and cause different reactions in the vast universe. I mean, honestly, this it could be that easy. It could literally be that simple. It doesn't have to be like everybody says and be all scared. I just think if this earth was to stop and dissolve, that we would either be instantly dead. Come on, Chong, let's go. I think we'd be instantly dead, or we would travel through one of these anomalies, which they like to call them. And things that people don't understand, they'll call it an anomaly and this and that. But maybe they just create different pathways to understanding our greater self. So, and a lot of scientists, like I said, they're calling this God. And it may be. God is, I guess, in a sense, it's energy. And it's not, it's a big cloud of energy. A huge cloud. And it would create things, but the thing after that is if you go with that theory, God may be coincidental or just chemical reactions in space. I mean, it might not be where it's doing things. I mean, if you want to say in the sense of God wouldn't be a person. It would God could just be the vastness of space and intertwined with all of our different energy. Maybe there is really no judgment or God in that sense. Maybe it's chemical reactions that happen in space, and our memories and stuff are just stuff, and things that go together are just because they always say that when you study like things. I used to study and tinker with the male brain and the female brain. The male brain usually wants to be more dominant and nurturing. And that's what makes a man a man. And a woman brain wants to be like, they want to bring forth life. And that's what we're here for, really. Just like the animals. They bring forth life, then after that, you just die when you die. Maybe that's what some things. Okay, we lost connection for a minute. But if you're in one of these realities, maybe every event in that affects, maybe there's a master universe for every event. Because they say we are special in the sense that we kind of create our own destiny. But maybe that literally is how we do it. The choices we make. The person you decide to be with, the person you decide to have children with. It kind of adds to your story because that's what's left on that plane. And then when you leave and die, you're going on a different plane and your kids are there on that plane. And then eventually they move to another plane of existence. And maybe everybody just gets shuffled around till they just kind of we just move around in different universes. Maybe Juniper was an Earth at one time. They say it's real similar to us. Maybe that's what happened. We were all on Juniper. Or Jupiter, sorry. We were at Jupiter at one point. It got real bad. We all got recycled back to Earth. Because that planet went bad. And then when this planet goes bad and they say And when one of these other planets are ready to harvest life, maybe, we don't look the way we look because we're starting over on a different planet. I mean, there's just a lot of what ifs. And this whole entire conversation people want to have over and over again, and all the research and all the all the research and the telescope studies and everything else. I mean, it could be there. It's just a lot. It's a lot for one person to digest, honestly. And I honestly think that there might be something to this. And I'm saying it's not all in these parallel universes. Just could be different time periods. And maybe we jump to different time periods. Because obviously, if you died in this universe, you're going to jump to the future in another universe. And we just create time paradoxes. Because I mean, I've been reading up and studying up all this, and it seems to make the most sense to me when I think about it in that way. Because to have a perfect time paradox, it seems like it would be what one would probably go with. But I mean, you can leave your comments and give me your ideas, and I could research that, because no one's wrong. Literally, not one person's wrong about the subject. No one's right. No one's wrong. We're all with interesting questions and answers. That's all we are. That's where we're at. Because there's really nothing, honestly, that I could say that really makes anyone right or wrong. And I wish somebody could come up with the right, but how are we going to prove it? We can't prove any of this. And I guess if you can't really prove anything, can't say anyone's wrong or right. He really enjoys these fire hydrants. Are you going to pee on it or not? What are you doing with it? I don't understand. Okay, he's going to mark it. There we go. At least he didn't use the pee pads. He waited till I got home. He's getting better. But even if we talk about from the cold fusion creating a perfect time paradox, I mean, that's a whole month of talking within itself. Because there's so much different research, so much different scientists that did so many different papers. I mean, who are you to believe? Honestly, I'm not going to believe somebody that said something psychotic like it's TVs and someone's looking at it. But I guess if you wanted to look at it in that sense, or maybe he didn't mean it quite that way. Maybe he just said it's another way of looking at different paradoxes. And hopefully he meant it that way. Hopefully. Because I don't see how it could, I just don't understand how it could be like that. But maybe that was just a fun way, but then they keep saying it's an actual real theory. That there's one master universe. And maybe there is, in a sense, because the master universe is where our actual plane of understanding is. So, oh my God, he puts me through mud and everything else sometimes. Chong, this is why I can't have nice things. or nice shoes because of all this putting mommy through mud and everything. But I guess if you were to get a perfect paradox of time, I would think you would have to go to multiples of two. Because if two black holes create a past, present, and future for each event in your life, to get a paradox, you would need four black holes. And if you had four black holes and all four black holes came together, and you had to, and two came together, another two came together, and those two that had the other two came together, you got a paradox. And a paradox would be a universe, would maybe be the master universe they're talking about, because the Milky Way has a lot of black holes, people. A lot. I was reading just in the vast things, they're looking at probably 100 or more black holes. And they're not even sure. It's just huge. And maybe these black holes that we think is one hole, maybe it's several of them that merged. No one's talking about that. Maybe when these black holes merge, they kind of tweak our reality a little. And they change things for us in ways we don't realize. And sometimes I think if we mess with it too much, and it's true that it could be possibly a time vortex, and it's doing ripples in time, I mean, we wouldn't have a happy existence because you would always be confused. You would never be what you might, forget about your kids because you would forget that you had kids. Because honestly, we're just here on universe standards. We're here and life came and we're here to bring forth more life and come back. I mean, some people, if you believe the Hindus, they say that, honestly, the Hindu people say you're going to come back as an animal. Some people say you're not. I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but a lot of religions say you're going to come back. Except for the Catholics. They just say you go to heaven. But they really never say you're coming back. I'm saying they have proven about the gray matter. It's proven. Which is undisputed. Maybe this gray matter literally gives life. I mean, we don't know. It's a possibility that's what this gray matter does. Maybe it's the building blocks of different universes and life. Because if it's building planets where life can be formed, then it's the building blocks of life. And maybe, it's everything we do is random. Honestly. Maybe it's just random coincidences. And in the end, it really doesn't matter because you bring forth the life and then you go and you be one with the universe, have fun. Don't have to deal with life's hardships, heartbreak, and just life issues that can be terrifying. And then you move on and have a new existence. Maybe that's what all the secret of life is. I mean, it could be. People kind of glaze over things, but this could be the answer. Random coincidences. And if you have a bunch of random coincidences, and things come. Some people want to just say it is God. Maybe it's not. Maybe that is a secret life. Just random things that are shuffled like a card game. Kind of like you're playing rummy or something. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you get the one you want, sometimes you don't. There's always going to be a love interest before you're like 40 because your body wants to reproduce. That's why you have sex. It's if you didn't have the hormones to want to have sex, you wouldn't want to reproduce. And in that whole time period, you're just randomly deciding who you want to procreate with. And obviously, the fathers are supposed to make sure that the kids are taken care of and everything's provided, so when they get to be older, they're able to provide for themselves, and all the good adage if you have a proper upbringing. And maybe that's just what the universe is, the random coincidences that bring about life. And honestly, from everything I've heard, that's starting to make the most sense. Random coincidence. And if you want to go, I'm going with random coincidence. So if you want to go with a random coincidence, then that would actually, I think it would explain free will. Because all the religious people will tell you free will, free will, free will. If there's random circumstance and you're deciding the outcome, that is free will. So if we want to go with that theory, which I think it makes way more sense than all the other stuff that hurts your head, we're going with random coincidence, then we pretty much control our own universe. You're living, you're enjoying, you're doing what you want to do in life. And you're literally, if you want that guy or that girl or whatever, you're going and you're literally just doing what makes you happy. And random coincidence would do that. And sometimes in science they're called free radicals. There's radicals that just kind of go around. They just kind of float around, these radicals, all the time. And these radicals are just running around everywhere, and people are grabbing and this one and that one. So I guess it's kind of like going to a party, a potluck. And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, because it's random free radicals. And maybe that's literally what our universe does. It gives you random free radicals, and you choose which one. Kind of. Like, that's why I like to say that I like to play cards. So I like to say that the universe is like a card game. You're playing poker. Let's say you want the money particle. You want that random event that's going to bring you money. But it only appears once or twice. So you got to strategically find where that random coincidence happens where you can get your money. Which I guess in our universe would be school, streaming, extra jobs, rich husband, rich wife, anything of that sort. But these would be your free radicals. They're not guaranteed. They kind of collide, and they go around each other in different integral ways. And maybe you would just grab one. And whatever one you get, you just either got the lucky one or the unlucky one. Maybe that's how it works. And people just think too much about it. Because I'm honestly thinking that's pretty much what it is. Because they say when you study like different kinds of stuff like DNA and stuff, and there's a lot of free radicals, and they say that's where cancer, those little dots in your double helix, they say that's where your different heredity characteristics are. So if we're gonna, and that's the thing in our world that can be proven. So if you think about it in that sense, how they might, if it's in our world, maybe there's random free radicals in another world that just shape you. You know, you got personality ones. You got one for personality. You got one for, if you're going to be healthy, not healthy, what skin color you're going to be or not be, or if you're going to be a split in between. You just don't know. And it could be. I'm thinking that this, honestly, it makes the best answer, because our minds are mysterious. Our brain is very mysterious and intriguing. Our brain does a lot of stuff that we just don't realize it could do, and we haven't hit its full capacity. So maybe at some point it does do things, and it randomly, our brain can connect with different things. And maybe at birth, we're getting in our body, there's elements of the earth inside of us, and we're made different ways. And I believe in evolution. I do not believe that one day there was just a man and a woman and that was it. I believe I am a total evolution girl. No one's going to tell me there's not or there's not. We evolve, and I do believe in Lucy and all that, and how early man didn't look as good as we look. I totally believe that, because the other theory makes no sense at all, not even a little bit. So we're not going with that at all, because I believe that's silly to go with crazy talk. So if we're going to believe in evolution, yeah, there was a bunch of animals on Earth. They say we came from whales. So maybe on another planet we started out from a shark. We don't know. I mean, that's the great thing about not knowing, because if you don't know something, it just leads to something to do, something to research. And you get your brain moving. Oh, come on, Chong. It's starting to rain. Come on. I don't feel like getting rained on. Let's go up the street. Hopefully we don't get too much into the rain. I'm trying to get up the street again. I'm glad I didn't go too far. But on this stream, we're going to go with, I believe that there's versions of cold fusion, and maybe we tapped into some of the energy the black holes can do. Because if we can somewhat get us kind of a model, I bet the universe had been doing it for way longer than us. Way longer. Of course, he's going to have to take his time and pee, so I get rained on the way home. My life has been overtaken by a dog that likes to walk in the rain. But I'm going to go with that. And leave me comments if you think that possibly it wasn't like a cold fusion thing. You have a better idea? we could totally research that too, and then I can watch some more videos and we can critique that idea. Because I'm not a scientist. Don't claim to be one. I would love to be one, but in this lifetime, in this reality, in this dimension, I don't have enough money to go to school to be one. Or so I'm not meant to be a scientist, but I am a person that questions things and I seek the truth. And I have an obsession with truth. So I honestly will, and then I'm going to think about it a little. And then if I come up with something different, I'm going to do another stream. I'll do another stream kind of about these multiverses again. And because there's a lot of stuff in play with these. Lots. There's so many things that come to play with this idea. There has to be some gigantic explosion of incredible energy that happens somewhere in our galaxy. There has to. It really does. And my thing is, some people say that space is fake. Well, how does it explain you walking? How does it explain how we can make plastics? There has to be something out there. There is some kind of universe, in my opinion. And there is some kind of supreme energy out there, which would be God. Is he good or bad? I think he's neither. He's just a lot of energy, and literally if you go against the balance, energy always balances out. That's actually a relative term in the scientific world. Everything eventually balances out. Even if it goes through a destruction cycle, it will eventually balance out. It always does. The balance sometimes is very destructive, but that's okay. Because sometimes something has to be taken down and rebuilt to make it better. So if one day our Earth isn't exactly the way we have it and we're in another universe, we enjoyed our time. Just like living in an old house, if you think about it. All right, let's go across this way. But yeah, you live in an older house and you can only fix it up for so long, then it gets torn down. Maybe it's like that. All right, we're not doing that there. There's a sign. But that's how I think of the universe. And if this planet one day is going to be like Venus or Mars or something, I mean, hopefully I'm on a different reality where my world's nice again. Maybe I'll live in a cool mountain range instead of the suburbs. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in a mountain range or near one. To me, that would be fun. But some people, not so much. I can deal without a lot of people. I mean, sometimes you have to deal with people because you got to work. So, and you got to be in society a little bit because you have parents. So that kind of puts things at a standpoint. Then when you got older, once your parents pass, you could be by yourself, and then eventually, you could be in your little mountain range and leave some stuff for the next person that wants solitude. That's what I would do. And it would be fun for me, but what's fun for me is not fun for someone else. And that's the way we gotta look at things in the world. It's not all about us. It's about the whole. The whole equation. Come on, Chong. Chong, I'm not going to sit here and not walk straight because of this. Come on. Go. I'm still feeling little water drops here. So I'm going to keep the stream going. Come on, Chong. Let's go. Chong. Forget about those sticks. It's going to rain. But honestly, that's my take of all this. I'm saying don't be scared. Because honestly, even if all this did happen, you're not going to remember. And the energy is going to be so big, it's going to just break us apart atom by atom. And we'd be poofed out of existence before we felt any pain. Because it'd be at such a big magnitude. You would just literally be standing, and then one day you wouldn't be. And you would just it would be instant death. Instant. It would be literally, you would not even have time to register the pain at all if you had no prior knowledge of what was going on. So I wouldn't worry myself too much about this, but just understanding the world around you sometimes it can't help you. It can't help you in a lot of ways. You got to know your surroundings. Chong! I almost fell. Stop it. All this over squirrel. Let's go. He always attacks the squirrels. All the time. Tries to climb the trees. He can't climb trees, but boy does he try. I tell you. Dogs are something. But honestly, this is where I'm going with this. And leave your comments on the stream, like I said. And if you think one of my points might not be correct, or you think it's something else, let me know. I'm not saying it's it. It's just when I think about things and I wonder about things, this what comes through my head sometimes. So I could be wrong. Sometimes I am wrong. I'm not facetious enough to think I'm right all the time. Because it takes a bunch of people to find out the answer. You believe one person and say that person's right, the next person might have a partial answer to the truth you're seeking that might have made your outcome different. So, honestly, I'm okay with that, and I would love you to come and tell me so I can get a better... No, Chong! No! Then I can get a better understanding of the world. Now, if Chong would stop chasing after every dog, I would be happy. Come on, that dog is going that way. We're going this way. For the love of God, Chong. Come on, let's go. But yeah, leave it on my stream. Let me know if you can add some things for me to research about these multi-universes. I would love the comments. I would love to hear about somebody that searches for truth like I do and searches for answers. Things like that would make me happy. And that's why I do this, to try to get answers for my own self. Because I don't really talk to enough people that know about these kind of subjects. So, I'm going to end this. Chong, come on. Would you move it, Chong? And I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to go and probably watch more YouTube videos on on this subject and put my take on it. No, all this is literally is my take. That's it. This literally has nothing to do with what I say is true or what that guy says is true. It's just how I perceived what I listened and how I formulate and put it together. But if someone else has a better question or answer, I would love to hear it. So, be a critical thinker and exercise your brain. And tomorrow I will be talking about another aspect of the multi-universes. And please leave your comments because I value them and I value all my followers. And I want everyone to have a great day.